Good morning, viewers. Welcome to today's class. Today, we'll be discussing quadratic equation by factorization method. Remember, in solving quadratic equation, you can either use the factorization method, the completing the square method, the formula method, or the graphical method. Okay, today we'll be looking at the factorization method. And before I start, let's give you the general form of a quadratic equation. The general form of a quadratic equation is given as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Good. And in using the factorization method, there is this important rule that helps us whenever we use the factorization method, and it is called the zero product rule. The zero product rule. What does that mean? We mean that if a times b gives you 0, then one of them has to be 0. Either a is 0 or b is 0. This helps us to solve in factorization method. Now let's take an example to illustrate that. Example 1. Given that x squared minus 5x is equal to 6. Solution. To solve this, we try as much as possible to rewrite this as this so that we can factorize. Now, rewriting this as the general form of the quadratic equation, we are having x squared minus 5x. Taking 6 to this, we have minus 6 equals 0. This is what we'll factorize to continue. Now, in factorizing this, we'll be looking for two numbers such that when we multiply them, we have minus 6, and when we add them, we have minus 5. And such two numbers should be minus 6 and 1. Minus 6 times 1 will give us minus 6. Minus 6 plus 1 will give us minus 5. So having done that, we can now put it here. X squared minus 6x plus 1x. I will just write x minus 6 is equal to 0. Observe that what I substituted is just this. I rewrote minus 5 to be minus 6x plus x. From here, you can get it. Okay, you can get this from here. That's what I mean. So having this is to help you to be able to factorize. Once you do it, factorization becomes easy. You don't need to think what should it be, what should it not be. Okay, now having done that, we take them in pairs. Let's take these first two pairs. What is common there? We have x to be common. So we factorize out x. We have x. Now x divide x squared. We have x. Minus 6x divide x. X we cancel x and we have 6. Plus, what is common there? I think 1 should be common, so that we have x minus 6. Now the trick is to have exactly the same thing in the bracket. That is the trick. The trick is to have exactly the same thing in the bracket. Once you have exactly the same thing in the bracket, then it's telling you that you are doing well. But once you don't have, then something is wrong. Okay, now let's continue. The next trick we are going to apply is this. X plus 1. Or let's say we factorize. Let's factorize x minus 6 since it's common in 2. We factorize again so that we have x plus 1. This is common, so we bring it out and we have this to be equal to 0. Good. Now, having this, we have something that looks like the zero product rule. The zero product rule says that if two numbers multiply to give you 0, then one of them has to be 0. So we say either x minus 6 is 0 or x plus 1 is 0. Okay. Either x minus 6 is 0 or x plus 1 is 0. That means our x here is going to be what? 6. Or x here is going to be minus 1. so that x is either 6 or -1. Now, I want to save us some time. Let's save ourselves some time. When we have applied the two, when we have looked for two numbers such that such that when we multiply we have -6, and when we add we have -5, and we say that it is equal to -6 plus 1, -6 and plus 1. Now look here, what do we have here? X minus 6, and the other one x plus 1. So when you have that number, just substitute and equate to 0. That means I could have avoided all this stress here to land at x minus 6, x plus 1. Okay, let's take one more example. Let's take one more example. I have 2x squared minus 5x equals 0. Okay, that is one more example, and we are done. Now, looking at this, we'll discover that it is already in the general form where our C equivalent is 0. So, we would continue, we'll factorize. Something is common here. What is common? X. X is here, X is here. So, we can say X factorize out X. So, we have 2x minus 5 equals 0. So we apply again our products, our zero product rule, so that we have either x is 0 or 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. X is 0 means x is 0. So here we are going to continue. 2x is equal to 5, taking 5 to this side, so that we have that x is equal to 5 over 2. So our value for x is either 0 or 5 over 2. Now, it is important to know that a quadratic equation always have two roots. The solution we get for the value we get for our x is called a root. So a quadratic equation always have two roots. Okay, let's continue. Let's take another example. Let's take another example. Let's take another example. Take p squared minus 2 brackets p plus 4 equals 0. Okay. P squared minus 2 brackets p plus 4. Okay. Now, having this, it is important, like I said, to always try to have this as the general form. Having this as the general form, we have p squared minus 2p minus 8 equals 0. Now again, we are having this first type where we have to look for two numbers that we multiply to give us 8, such that when minus 8, such that when we add them, we have minus 2. This is example 3, this is example 2, example 2, example 3. So let's look for that. The two numbers should be minus 8, 2. So let's look at minus 4 and 2. So we have p. Now I'll not be doing this again. We say that the two numbers are minus 4, and 2. That means p plus 2 equals 0. Good. So that I can now say either p minus 4, applying the zero product rule, is equal to 0, or p plus 2 is equal to 0. So that our p becomes 4 or p becomes minus 2. Our p becomes 4 or minus 2. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you understand. Please, you can comment on the comment section. Drop your comments on the comment section. We are going to answer all the questions there. We are going to appreciate you for commenting. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos. Very important to us. Thank you.